welcome to our practice for the Yoga Yama Brahmacharya. Today we're going to be doing a practice that works on awareness of both the 7th chakra, the crown chakra, and the root chakra, the first chakra. So we'll start out in a comfortable seated position, cross-legged, and you can sit on a blanket or a block if that helps your hips. Bringing the hands to the heart center, starting to slow your breath down. We'll begin with a hand gesture called prana mudra. We're going to mirror the movement of the breath with our hands. As you inhale, sweeping the palms up, and as you exhale, pressing the palms down. Just riding the flow of the breath with your hands. Working to find that perfect match between your breath and the movement of the hands. It's like a very small vinyasa. As you inhale, connecting to this sense of lightness and filling the body with space. As you exhale, connecting to a sense of grounding and stability. Feeling those two parts of each breath, that balance that it creates. We'll hold the top of our inhale, letting the hands float just for a few seconds. Exhaling completely and holding the bottom of the exhale, holding stillness and emptiness. Inhaling, holding the top of the inhale. Lungs are full. Exhale, releasing everything out and holding the bottom of your exhale. Drawing the hands into the heart. Then we'll go into our second version of prana mudra, which is expansion out to the sides. As you inhale, opening the arms as though you're holding a big accordion. On your exhale, palms draw together. Inhale, find expansion out into the rib cage and the lateral part of the lungs. Exhale, draw the rib cage together. The movement with the hands on this one really mirrors the movement that you're trying to create with your rib cage. Expanding, finding fullness in the breath. Exhale, drawing in, letting the breath empty. Again, with this version of prana mudra, trying to find that perfect match between your movement and your breath, but letting your breath be what sets the pace. We'll take our inhale and hold at the top of the inhale, hold that sense of fullness. As you exhale, draw the hands into the heart, hold the bottom of the exhale. And then one more breath like that. Inhale, pausing at the top of your inhale, full lungs. Exhale, and holding at the bottom of your exhale. Feeling that stillness. From there, we'll tint the fingers out to the sides into what we call Hakini Mudra. The tips of the fingers touching, the palms open out to the sides. Letting that float up just above your head, and we bring our awareness to the crown chakra, to the 7th chakra. Focusing your mind onto a state of connection and unity with what is above us or what is beyond us. We let the hands come back down, turning that mudra down toward the earth. And now settling our focus onto the first chakra, our root. And this is our connection to the physical world, all of the things that are around us. Bringing the hands back up to the heart center. pausing at the heart and then pressing the palms together. We'll switch the cross of the legs and then getting ready for our Sufi grinds. This is going to be a movement of creating a circular pattern right over the top of the hips with the rib cage and the shoulders. And this breath is an inhale as you go forward and an exhale as you go back. It's a strong scooping back with the belly and then pressing the heart forward as you inhale. Once you start this movement and you see what your back feels like, then you can decide if you want to pick the pace up a little bit, if you want to go faster and strengthen the breath, or if you want to stay with a slower, steadier pace if that feels better for you. But it should become a very strong rhythmic movement. Coming back into center, and we'll switch the cross of the legs again. Going into your Sufi grinds, this time changing the direction. We want to circle the opposite way to create a sense of balance. Now in this direction, starting out with a slower pace, and then seeing if you want to stay with that slow, steady rhythm, or if it feels okay for your body to start to increase the pace of your breath and the pace of your movement. Connecting to that strong sense of awareness of the root, of the very base of the pelvis. This is our connection to the earth when we're in seated postures, and it's our connection to the physical world around us, the things that we need to do our day-to-day living. Coming back up into center, drawing the hands to the crown, to the top of the head in prayer. And now we have our awareness at the opposite end. We start to move our body in a much smaller, gentler circle, but there's still this sense of rotating around our base, around our center. With this movement, keeping an awareness of the crown and an awareness of that which is beyond us, or whatever you know your higher power or your source to be. Come to center, pause for a moment, and switch the direction of your circle. Create balance. Letting this become a very steady, meditative type of movement. Keeping the breath steady. Coming back to center, reaching the crown up, tenting the fingers into Hakini Mudra, that focus on what is beyond us. Drawing down to the heart and then switching the hands, bringing that down to the root chakra, connecting to the physical world. Returning the hands to prayer, and then we will take the legs out front, folding your blanket over or whatever prop you're using to keep your hips lifted. We'll stretch the legs straight out in front, and we're going to begin a kriya of moving the body forward and backwards. Now, especially if you have tight hamstrings, you're going to want to bend the knees as you move forward, or if you're early in your practice and you haven't warmed up your hamstrings very much yet, it's definitely a good idea to bend the knees as you come forward. But forward is your inhale, and then as you move back, you're scooping the belly toward the spine as you exhale, making a nice C curve and tucking the tailbone underneath. So it's a strong exhale, inhale, exhale, Inhale, exhale, inhale. Strong, repetitive breath. Letting that strong breath start to build heat and build energy in the center of the body. This is very core focused. And we're rocking over the top of our root chakra. So we're trying to have that awareness of our connection to the physical world. Come up towards center. Give yourself a moment of focus with the hands in Hakini Mudra at the heart center. Folding the hands back into prayer. Now we'll widen the legs into a nice V. Making sure that the hips are propped up high so that we can keep the lower back lifted. Bring the hands together. And this time we're going for a circular movement. It's like stirring a giant pot of soup. And it's a similar breath to our Sufi grinds. We inhale forward, exhale as you scoop the abdomen back. Letting the breath be strong. And the breath is always guiding the movement. Noticing the movements of the pelvis as you move forward and back. There's a rocking that starts to happen with the pelvis. And that's where we create that awareness of the root. Now we'll come up to center, pause for a moment, and start your circle again in the opposite direction. We bring balance to the pose, balance to our energy and to our physical body by switching to the other direction. Keeping your breath strong, letting it guide your movement, finding that pace that is just right for you, making sure that you're not pushing yourself too fast or straining. Come up towards center, let yourself pause in stillness. Using the hands, draw the legs in. And then we'll switch over onto the knees. Coming up into hero pose. So if it's uncomfortable for you to sit on your feet, you can tuck a block underneath the hips, or you can do the same movements sitting with the legs crossed. But first we'll interlace the fingers, press the palms out front. Inhale, stretch the spine up toward the ceiling, press the palms up. Exhale, rounding down through the spine, strong C curve, press the palms out, and inhale, lengthen through the side body as you press the palms up to the ceiling. We'll rock forward and back like this with a few breaths. As the hands press up toward the sky, there's that awareness of the crown chakra. We'll take that over to the side, into a really nice deep side bend to the right. Turning your gaze up to the ceiling if that feels okay on your neck. Coming back through center. Rocking forward and back with the spine. Palms press up. And then over to the other side. Shift the hips over. Let the arms sway to the left. Gently lifting your gaze up toward the ceiling. Back into center, rocking the spine down into a C curve, and back up to the ceiling, lengthening. Now this time, as we come over into our side bend, shift the hips to the left. Let your arms sway to the right and drop your bottom arm for support. Let that deepen your side bend. You can soften into it more when you have the support from the bottom arm. Inhale up through center. Find that length, palms up to the ceiling. Rock down into your C curve and back up for length. And switching sides, let your hips shift to the right And lower your left palm to the floor, lifting your gaze gently to the ceiling. Find a comfortable space for your neck. Let your side bend become deeper here because you have support. Inhale back up through center. Palms pressed to the ceiling. Exhale, round into your C curve. Palms press forward. And then we'll draw the palms together and lift up into good posture. As you inhale, sweep the arms up and then swing them behind the back and clasp them into Yoga Mudra. Palms pressed together. Inhale, lift the chest, come into seated, arms sweep up. Exhale, swing the arms back, Yoga Mudra. Arms come up a little higher this time, knuckles up toward the ceiling, letting your forehead rest on the floor. You can gently rock your shoulders. And again, we'll take our inhale up into sitting, arms sweep up. Swing the arms behind the back as you wave your spine down toward the floor. And now, moving into rabbit pose only if your neck is healthy. So if you have no problems with the neck, you can roll toward the crown of the head, but it's very slight pressure of the head on the floor. Most of the work is done by the belly. The head is just gently resting, barely any weight. Rolling back into child's pose. Waving yourself up into sitting, arms sweep high. Let the palms drop down to the heart. Bowing the head, releasing the hands. Now we'll start to prepare ourselves for a prostration practice. This is going to be bringing our body down to the earth in a way that is very humble. We'll start from table. As you exhale, bow your forehead down toward the earth. Bend your elbows. We'll do 3 breaths like that. Exhale down. Inhale up. Good. Exhale down. Draw the elbows close. Inhale, press the palms into the floor to lift up. Then we'll start to scoot the legs back and roll yourself down onto your belly. Inhale into cobra. Exhale, lower down. Again, 3 breaths for this movement. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, release. And then 1 more breath like that. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, release. Making contact with the floor, stretching the arms out overhead. Here we come into that full prostration, full contact with the floor, with the earth. Tent the fingers so that we come into Hakini Mudra, that awareness and that focus above our head. Connecting to that sense of feeling humble. We draw the hands back underneath the shoulders, and from here we go through another 3 rounds of cobra. Inhale, roll up. Exhale, roll down. 2 more breaths like that. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. And last one, rolling up and down. Fluid movement through the spine. Find your way back up into a table position. From that table, we bow the forehead down, keep the forearms parallel. Exhale, lower down to the earth. Inhale, press into the palms to come up. 1 more like that. Exhale, forehead down. Inhale, lift into table. As you exhale, rock back into child's pose, widening the knees as you make your way back. And bringing the hands to rest just above the crown. Opening the fingers, coming into Hakini Mudra. Use your inhale to start to lift the body up. We'll draw the knees together. Inhale, sweep your arms up overhead, lift your gaze, pressing the palms up to the ceiling. We'll draw the palms back together, dropping past the forehead and into the heart. We return to our practice of prana mudra, mirroring the movement of the breath with our hands, sweeping the palms up, exhale, pressing the palms down. Riding that wave of the breath with your hands. Letting this hand movement create even more exchange with your breath. We get to the top of the inhale, we hold the top for a few seconds. At the bottom of your exhale, pause. Feel stillness. Inhale the lungs full, hold at the top. Exhale, letting everything empty, holding at the bottom. Draw the palms into the heart, and we'll move into our second version of prana mudra with our side movements with the arms and a focus on our breath into the side body. Inhale, expand like a giant accordion. Exhale, contract. Inhale, expand, let the ribs open. Exhale, draw towards center, pull the ribs in. As you inhale, find the top of your inhale, hold for a few moments. And exhale, hold the bottom of your exhale. One more breath like that. Inhale, hold fullness, just a short pause. Exhaling, holding the end of your exhale. And then as you inhale, rise the arms right up over your head, tent the fingers into Hakini Mudra. Focus on your higher power, drawing down past the forehead into the heart, creating Hakini Mudra down at the root, our connection to the physical world. And then returning the hands to the heart, bowing down to the earth. Namaste. Thank you for practicing with me.